A good Voch Raboisai. There's a bunch of new guys. Avi, you haven't been around? No, it's better if your Tehillim doesn't do it. Nah, it's better. Come more often though. Shkoyach. Lilu Nishmas Imi Morosi Rus Bas Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored with Refuas. Charna Ita Bas Leeba, Refuah Shlema. All right. Couple of emails here. Well, first of all, we have a gift from the United States brought here by Nechemi Seltzer. He finally is here in the house, Nechemi Seltzer. So this is going to make things a lot better. This, what is this called? It's something. It's black magic. It's black magic. Gewaltige stuff. This is going to... All right, so Yishkoich Nechemia, thanks for coming back. No, but it's not going to... I don't know, some guy donated. Who donated it? Do we know? Anonymous. There's a whole list of people. David Zlatnik again comes up. He drove somewhere to get it, all the way to Nechemia. Is the whole thing. All right, so Yishkoich, all the guys that were involved, is going to hand the YouTube experience. And we could blame all the little problems that we had over the last few months on not having that device. And from today on, if there's any issues, it's all Gary's fault. Now, this one is from Tomer Levy. This is a very, very long email. He sent it a week ago. It takes a week to get into the queue here. What do you think this is? He's here. It's outdated. I'm not sure you realize that MDY movement have created sweeping the planet. For those of us who are unfortunate to frequently travel, your daily share and MDY chat keeps us connected, gives us inspiration and purpose to push on. I know I'm always bumping into people, and they all have heard something about MDY. So Kitzer, he goes on to say that he was in different places in Turkey. And then he was also, what's the name of that place? I can't even read this anymore. It's so long. Oh, Kapoitika. So in Turkey they call it Viazai, Cappadocia, and we call it Kapoitkia. Okay, I don't know, Sephardi, you say it a little different. How do they say it over there? Maybe the Ashkenazim are right. How? Kaputkia? You call it Kaputkia, and we call it Kapoitkia. I went to Yeshiva, it's Kapoitkia over there. Kaput is a different word. All right, anyway, so the bottom line is, here we go. It's a lot of pictures. I printed a lot of them out. He gave merch out to, I hope I have your picture here. After all that, it's going to be here somewhere. Yeah, he gave a magnet to some guy that has a Rolls Royce, and the guy's driving around. Okay, we're gonna have to bring the picture a different time. You have it on the screen. Okay, good. Oh, I have it here in small. Here's the rolls. And what else do I have? Maybe I have some other pictures? No, I don't have the one of Tomer. I blew up. I don't know what I did with it. Okay. He was learning Torah from a hot air balloon, some like thousands of feet up in the air. Obviously, he was learning, not looking at the beautiful sights. That was boring. All right, what else do we have here? We have here from Yisrael Shalitsky, Mazel Tov, Simas Sukkos, truly beautiful Simcha, real Kiddush Hashem. I really enjoyed seeing how you honored Ilya and Nati for the Hadron and Kaddish. It was real godless. You lifted them up, brought them in front of the class. I'm sure everybody felt the same way. Great, Yisrael Shalitsky. What else do we have? Shimon Pines, he has a great idea. He says that there's a clip of someone blowing the shofar. Now, he doesn't realize it's not a clip. The guy is such a pro, it sounds like a clip. It's the exact same thing every day. That's Avi Mandelbaum. He blows the shofar for those who don't have a shofar. He says instead of doing that, you should do something about Shmiras HaLashon. So, the reason why these clips are on, the reason why some of the Zoom is on, because a lot of people wanted to hear the shmooze that goes on afterwards. It's not a time for inspiration, Torah, not Torah. This 45 minutes, it's more of a time to shmooze afterwards. So until the shmooze starts, this is a Tkiyah Shofar. This is from Reb Chaim Weissman from Lakewood. He's a Mechaber Sefer, he writes Chiddushim. By the way, his son became a chassan Your brachas work, he says. I have no idea what he's talking about. Chesky Brown. Yeah, he came to the lake with the thing there. I don't give brachas. Why didn't I see the first Masechta I've learned with the MDY? Kudos to your marketing team. As I started Daf Yomi again, because all of the ads I was seeing and figured I would give it a try. You see, I finished Shas business from the last cycle. I figured I'd take a break from the Daf and learn all the things, and Elizabeth share became hooked. And you have gained a loyal follower. Thank you. Hope you give a share Muncie. Chesky Brown, Yishkoich Reb Chesky. All right. So we have a tremendous Daf today. And don't get discouraged. I know it's harder sugis than we are used to. If you only take away 1 point, 1 halacha that you didn't know, it was all worth it. So now we're going to go through the sugya a little bit because we stopped smacking in the middle of sugya. And it's beautiful stuff today. A lot of good chidushim, a lot of good stuff. The Gemara brings a Beitzah. Okay, here's the Beitzah. The Beitzah says a number of things. Number 1, you should know that an egg that was laid on Yontif is muktzah. What would you want to do with this egg? You'd want to put it under your bed. Remember, we had a picture of a car on a bunch of eggs. You'd want to cover something. You cannot. It's muktzah. Okay, that's halacha number 1. So remember that halacha, and the Gemara actually is going to bring it up on Amud Beis again. That's the halacha. That's what we pass it. It's muktzah. Another halacha. If you have a suffix with this egg, it's asur. What does it mean it's a suffix? So one pshat was that goes according to Rabbah. And Rabbah says the problem is preparing. You cannot prepare from a Shabbos to a Yontif. And therefore, it's a Isser D'Oraisa according to Rabbah. And Suffix D'Oraisa, you don't know when this egg was laid. Was it laid on Yontif? Was it laid on a weekday? So it's a Suffix D'Oraisa, Achanas D'Oraisa. So then the Gemara asks, very good. But what about these two Manda Amrim, Amoraim, who say that we're concerned that laying an egg looks, as an egg comes out of a chicken, it looks like a fruit falls off a tree. And there's a gzeira, you're not allowed to use fruit that fell off a tree. Why? Because you might come to pick a fruit from a tree. Or, this Manda Amar, Rabbi Yitzchak says, that an egg that comes out of a chicken looks like you just squeezed a fruit. Just like a fruit, some juice comes out from the chicken, an egg comes out. And you're not allowed to squeeze juice, you're not allowed to use the juice from a fruit. But that's only Gzeira D'Rabbanan. Gzeira D'Rabbanan, what's the big problem? Why is this halacha true? If you have a suffix in the blue, it's asur. Why? It's only a problem D'Rabbanan according to these two Manda Amrim. Okay. The other thing that it says in the Beitzah, that even 1 in 1,000 is not batal. So the Gemara explains that according to these two Manda Amrim, if anybody remembers, Geshmak Tidu Chazar, we must say that we're talking about a suffix treifa. We're not talking about an egg that was laid over here and over there, was laid on the other. We're talking about a treif chicken that laid an egg. We don't know if it was laid from this chicken or that chicken, the treif or not, and suffix treif is d'oraisa. Oh. So if so, the question is, this is a problem. How does this halacha hold true? It says that 1 in 1,000 is not batal. We know that anytime you have something that's not going to become mutter, like treif is not going to become mutter, becomes batal in what? 1 and 2. Batal b'raiv. Batal b'raiv. Rashi brings the pasuk. Achirav and lahatais. Two eggs that are 100% kosher, and 1 egg that's a suffix. You're allowed to eat all 3. So it can't be treif, asked the Gemara. Well, there is one thing. If you hold that an egg is so chashav, because you sell it individually, you sell it by the dozen, it's davar shebiminion, then it's not batal b'raiv. Well, that depends, the Gemara says. There's one man who holds it has to be exclusively sold like that. Only if the only way you can buy an egg is by the dozen, then you're right. Then it's not batal b'raiv. But if some stores sell it by weight, some stores sell it by the amount, then it's no good. And that's where we're holding basically, right there, smack in the middle of this. So we're holding Daf Gimel Amud Beis, in the middle of the sugya. So we said there's a nafkamina between the word es and the word kol. Es means the only way to sell an egg is b'minyan, is by the amount. Now in the time of the Gemara that wasn't so. Maybe today the Shach says that's how we sell eggs. That's the only way to sell eggs. But in the time of the Gemara they would sell it other ways as well. So it's something that could be batal b'raiv. Again, the question is, why do you say that this suffix egg is loy batal be'elef? Cannot be batal, even 1 in 1,000 is not batal. Your whole idea of that it's davar shebeminyan, it's so chashiv, flies out the window according to one man damar. That what? Let's see this inside. We learned this. We're just going back a little bit. So if you have, I showed fenugreek, a bottle, and I said specifically, it's not this stuff. This is the stuff that comes out of the stalks. Obviously, the small beans, whatever they come out of we're not talking about that, but it was just for the picture, the fenugreek. Yidolku. Because so chashav, if you have these stalks and they're klei kerem, they were planted in a vineyard, you got to burn them. You can never get rid of the problem, even 1 of 1,000, even if the ones that got mixed in, they got mixed into another group, all the groups have to be burned. Remember, this is Remeir. Remeir says something chashav like that, you can never get rid of. It's 1 in 200. You see, the word es means only, exclusively, tilton, fenugreek. That's the only way they sell it, by the stalk. Each stalk costs a certain amount of money. If this is how you sell it by the individual piece or by a number, then it's mekadesh, it answers everything. Okay, they're saying the same idea, but Chacham hold there are only 6, and it's very different. We'll see in a second. Only 6 items in the entire world that are so chashiv, so large, so important, that they don't become batal. Guess what's not on the list? An egg. Rabbi Kiva Omer, Shiva, I'll add 1, bread. A nice loaf of bread. Beiloem. A goizev perech. Nuts from the place called Perech. Virimayne Badon. And a special pomegranate, we're talking about Rosh Hashanah pomegranates, not every pomegranate. The pomegranate from Badon is so beautiful, so large, so important, it doesn't become bottle, you can never nullify it. The chaviyah is tumais, wine that's in a sealed cask. The chilfei trodden, certain type of beets that have thorns on them. The kilchei kruv, and cabbage stalks. Now look at Rashi for a second if you can. He says, kilchei kruv g'doilim in Alan Shalem. Listen to this. Ukruv shel Eretz Yisrael hayagadol ki ilon. The cabbage in Eretz Yisrael was as large as a tree. It would grow really, really tall. It was so important. Obviously, you didn't sell it by the pound or by... you sold it by the piece. That's how you sold it. Udlas Ivanis, and a Greek gourd. Okay. So anyways, we have a mandoma that says there's only 6 items in the world that are not batal. B'roiv. Rabbi Kiva says 7. Rabbi Meir says anything important, even an egg. And then the Beitzah just goes on, the Mishnah goes on, arla. From this list, you have arla, things that grow on a tree, like a pomegranate. And then you have another type of food in this list. You have a vegetable, like a cabbage. Fine. Rabbi Yochanan Omar es shedarkin l'mana shaninu. Rabbi Yochanan is going in Rabbi Meir and he says es. There's only something that's exclusively sold in a certain way by minyan, by an amount. The word kol means even. So if you sell eggs, sometimes by the dozen, sometimes by the weight, it's included in this. So Rabbi Meir, according to Rabbi Shimon Lakish, there's no problem in this sugya. Why? We're talking about an egg that's from a treifa, it's a suffix. You ask me, if so, since it's going to become mutter, it's never going to become mutter, so therefore it should become batal b'raiv? The answer is, eggs are sold in certain places individually by the dozen, and therefore even 1 in 1,000 do not become batal, according to Shlakish, how he learned to Rebbe Meir. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, how he learned to Rebbe Meir, no, it's S. It has to be exclusive, and therefore we have a problem according to Rabbi Yochanan and how he learns to Rebbe Meir. How is he going to explain that an egg does not become batal in 1,000? Why not? It's not exclusively sold like that. It's awfully quiet here tonight. What's going on? Avi. Nachman tzvotz Shabbos. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh midvaray. We should sing a niggin or something. Okay, no, I'm not kidding, David. Weiter. Ask a kasha or something. It's good. I'll ignore you anyway. Says the Gemara. We just explained the question. You're right. It's not Rebbe Meir. We have a problem according to Rabbi Yochanan and Rebbe Meir. He holds that it has to be exclusive and eggs are not exclusive. But I found another Manda Omar. The Manda Omar of figs. All right. The Omar called Dabar Shebeminyan Afidu B'Derabanan Loi Batal. So let's explain this outside, and then we're going to go inside. So it goes like this. First of all, this is a ktsiyah. In those days, they would take figs. They would take out the oikets. How do you say oikets in English? The stem. They had a special tool, took it out, put them all in a big round vat or something, and then they would press it down, and they would sell it as so. In our days, just to l'saber sa'oizen, we call it Yerushalmi Kugel. Okay? This is how it is. It's pressed down. Now, I needed a little bit of room to work over here. So we know the halacha is you have to take Trumas and Maasros. By the way, because I showed this on Friday, so I said, why don't my kids know this? So I started asking questions. They knew 75% of this, and in 5 minutes, we got this straight. Meiser Sheni is year 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, and 6 is Meiser Ani. Going through the whole list, 2%, 10%, they were a little confused. Meiser, Truma. Okay, they got it straight. Next Shabbos we'll do it again. Mamash easy, 5 minutes, and now when the Rebbe starts talking about Trumas and Maasros, they're not going to fall asleep. They'll be familiar with it. Okay. Guy takes his Truma, his 2%, his Meiser, whatever it is, when he's making his figs, and puts it on top, up until this blue line. The whole top part, as you see over here, the whole top part is Truma. Then he has a whole bunch of these. He's in the business of fig making. Why he did it, I have no clue. And it got lost. It got mixed in. Now the problem is, as you see this, it's very tough. It's very hard. It doesn't mix in. Whatever's on top stays on top. Whatever's on top. And I want to be mevatel the truma beroiv. How much are you typically mevatel truma beroiv? 1 in? Anybody? Come on, 20, no. You said 200. 1 in 100. You need 100 times the amount to be mevatel. So if I could use the whole bottom part, and I have a bunch of other these guys, let's say 10 more of them, so I got a nice bittul going on there. But if it's stuck on the top and it doesn't mix in halachically, now I need how many of these tops? 100. I need 100 more tops to be mevatel. Again, I want to be able to eat my figs on the bottom. I have truma somewhere. I don't know where it is. If I could be mevatel at 1, I could get 100 times the amount of figs than the top part somehow. Then all I need to do is give the kayin any top. Let's call this 1 pound. I need 100 pounds of good figs that are 100% not truma against the 1 pound of truma. I give the kayin any pound, and then I can eat all of the 100 pounds, no problem. It's batal. No, I need 100 to 1. Not 100. I need 101. I need 100 times that one. Okay? But nice try, Gershon. I like the fact that you're listening up there. You're valdik. So, it's 1 to 100, not 1 to 99. It's not a big enough gemina. You're close, but what? What does he say? Oh, me'evechad says Rashi. Baruch shekivanti to Rashi. Okay. So.
Places disagrees. Did you look in the typos?
He doesn't have a Gemara even. He has. Don't listen to him. Okay. No, but I'm very proud of you, Gershon. Very proud. You know, it's because you have that new device already and everything's going smoothly. You can listen. So now we have a three-way machlokes. Let's see if I can find the machlokes somewhere.
Eli, Rashi, and Gary.
What did I do with the machlokes? Oh, here it is. I'll show you real quickly. It's very simple. There's three options here, Rabbi said. Three options. Either you could use the entire Yerushalmi Kugel to do 100 to 1, or you could only use the tops because they don't mix. So you need 100 tops to cancel out this one, or you can never cancel. We're looking for the shita that says you can never cancel, and therefore an egg can never be canceled. He holds, this shita right over here holds in Ktzios, in Yerushalmi Kugel, that it's not batal because it's chashuv. It's not in the list of the 6 things. It's not a pomegranate from Badan. It's not a stalk of cabbage that's 25 feet tall. It's a piece of Yerushalmi Kugel. It's a piece of figs. And the reason why it's not batal is because it's chashuv. So an egg that's chashuv and it's sold. It's chashuv. What do you mean it's chashuv? It's sold as Yerushalmi pieces. As you. That's why also I want to do Yerushalmi, because in Eretz Yisrael, if you ever go to the stores, they sell to you like these triangles. They make triangles. That's how you sell Yerushalmi. You don't sell it like this. You don't sell the whole thing. It's pieces. So therefore, the figs is a piece. You sell it like that. It's not batal b'roiv. It's not batal in 1,000, according to this shita. So there's one shita over here. It says never batal, and that's, you're asking me, why is the egg not batal in 1,000? Because he holds like this man over here by figs. That's not batal in 1,000. Just to show you, to make it visual, Rebbe Meir doesn't have this shita. Rebbe Meir's over here. He says, Rebbe Lezer says you could be mevatel, the entire fig thing is mevatel b'roiv. Rebbe Yeshua argues and he says just the tops. And Rebbe Yehuda slides it down, takes these two shitas and goes downwards. He says there's no shita that says you can use the whole Yerushalmi Kugel. It's only Rebbe Eliezer that says you need 100 tops. And Rebbe Yeshua, that Rebbe Meir says tops, is the shita that we're looking for, Mr. Green. It's not batal. Okay, now let's see it inside. This nan. Now, very, very important halacha. Even if you just take this halacha home and that's it, very important halacha. This whole list, Rabbi Isai, midoiraisa, is only on 3 things. Dagan, tirosh, v'yitzar. Only on the grains, grapes, and olives. But figs are not one of those 3 things. Therefore, to give truma and meiser from figs is only the Rabbanon. Okay? Therefore, we're talking about the Rabbanons here. And that's why it says, the Omar called afidu b'derabanan loy batil v'kolchkein b'deraisa. But the egg that comes out of a treifa is a deraisa. So it's a big kolchkein over here. The snan, it says in the Mishnah, litra k'tziyah shedar salpi igol. You take litra, like it's an amount, like a liter, but not really. Litra k'tziyah shedar salpi igol. You pressed it down in a circle. V'nidebe zigol drasa. He has a lot of figs and he has a lot of these circles, these round vats. Alpi achaves, same exact thing, into a barrel. Api kaveres, in some other type of kli, but we're all talking about figs here. Remeir oimer. Rebbe Lezer oimer. Remeir says in the name of Rebbe Lezer, that's why I put over here Remeir. Says, Rebbe Lezer says, in other words, I can use the entire pot, the entire cask, the entire barrel, even though we know for a fact that he put in 100 figs and they're stuck somewhere in the top. They don't sink to the bottom. Figs don't mix. Nevertheless, it's a tremendous chiddush. I can use the entire barrel to nullify it and say, no, it's 1 to 100. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, according to Rameir, Rabbi Yeshua says, no, since I know for a fact they're sitting on the top of a barrel somewhere, so I need 100 barrels, 100 tops. Otherwise, and this is beautiful, because he holds that the top does not mix into the bottom, so don't eat all the tops, but you can eat all the bottom. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Lezer Omer, Im Yesham Meyo Pumim Yalom Lav Pumim Asurim. Let me ask you a question. Let's say a guy has 99 barrels. Could he just add another barrel into the mix? Remember that you said that. Remember, I'm going to hold you to it. Even in the Rabbanan. Okay?
Add it quickly before anyone else.
That's the sheet that we're looking for. Here on the bottom. Did I skip something? Rabbi Yehuda slides it down. These two sheetas become these two sheetas. That Rabbi Lezer, instead of saying Hakol red, Rabbi Lezer became blue. That you need the tops. And now the green sheeta, that's what we're looking for. It's never batal b'roiv, and therefore an egg is also not batal b'roiv. That's the man da'omar. It's not Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Meir. It's a new man da'omar called Rabbi Yehoshua in the halacha of figs. Drasa be'igul be'nidebe is the eagle drasa. Now, stop. The Beitzah keeps on going. What if you pressed it and you don't know where you pressed it? That's exactly what we spoke about. Divrei akol yalu, according to everybody, it's batal b'roiv. Divrei akol hayne peluktahu. We just went through a whole three-way machlokes here, and you're telling me it's okay? Mistake. Omar papa chikoamar drasa be'igul be'nidebe is a mokoim eagle drasa. Very interesting. Listen to this. If the guy didn't put it on the whole thing, he just took 10 figs and put it in one little area on top. And now he forgot, is the area on the right or on the left? Is it safan or darim? He has no clue where it is. This makes it better. Now it becomes completely mixed in there. It has no chashivas anymore. It could be anywhere. Before we knew it's for sure on the top. Now we don't know anything. We don't know. So Mela, it's batal. When you know where it is, it's not batal. When you don't know. Okay, now let's go back a second. Remember that Beitzah? The Beitzah said that an egg on Yantiv is muktzah. Halacha number 2 is an egg besafek is asur. So we said pasha pshat. Without looking at Rashi, what does suffix egg mean? You would say, it means, was it laid on Yantif or was it laid on a weekday? The Gemara says that's very hard to understand. So Gemara says, because according to these two shitas that it's the Rabbanan, it's hard to understand, right? These two shitas that say that it's just a gzeira, so why is it the Rabbanan Asr? Right? Nachamal. According to Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Yitzchak, it looks like taking an apple off a tree, or it looks like squeezing an apple. So it's only looking like it's a gzeira. For gzeira, why would it be asur? So therefore, the Gemara went away from that and said, we're talking about a treif egg. But where does it say anything about treif egg? Suffix treif egg. It's a very hard pshat. Therefore, Rav Ashi, Amar Leilam Suffix Yom Suffix Chol. Let's go back to the pasha pshat. Not a hard pshat, a very simple pshat. We're talking about that we don't know when the egg was laid. Was it laid on Yantif or on a weekday? Now, but you asked me, if that's the case, it's a suffix in the Rabbanan. And suffix the Rabbanan Likula. Comes Rav Ashi with a beautiful chap. Haver dava sheyesh lematirim. We're talking about an egg that is laid on Yantif and is asur only for what? For that one day of Yantif. It's mutter the day after Yantif. So it's dava sheyesh lematirim in a Rabbanan. And guess what? Says Rav Ashi, a big chiddush, that even the Rabbanan, since it's going to become mutter in a few hours, wait patiently until the few hours come. You asked me that according to these two shitas, it's only a Rabbanan, so Safi the Rabbanan Lekula. Not true. Safi the Rabbanan Lekula when you don't have a way out. But over here I have a way out. Wait until Matzah Yantiv and then eat your egg. Who forced you to eat your egg today? It's Dava Shesh Matirim when Even in the Rabbanon, you have to wait. Tanya. Now, we're going back to the Mishnah. Remember the first words of the Mishnah. A Beitzah that was laid on Yontif, according to Beis Hillel, it's usher to eat. According to Beis Shammai, it's mutar to eat. Comes Rabbi Eliezer and says, I hold like Beis Shammai. Beitzah te'yochel hi ve'ima. You're allowed to eat the mother and the egg. Now, what's the bigger chiddush out of the two? The egg. The egg is noilad, and if we're talking about muktzah is much less than the noilad. As the Gemara b'mayaskinon. If we're talking about a chicken, that's this guy that's ready to eat, made to eat, not made to lay eggs. Of course, it's not muktzah, so you could eat the mother, you could eat the egg. You tell me it's this? I got over here. You say, I got the hint, I'm a little dry. I said already. So, if it's a chicken that's there to lay eggs, we said it's muktzah. Because Rabbi Eliezer holds like, who holds muktzah, Rabbi Yosef? You guys remember? We have Machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, muktzah. Rabbi Eliezer holds like Rabbi Yehuda, that there is muktzah. So they're both also. Or Rabbi Zera, te'ochel agav ima. Says Rabbi Zera that you're allowed to eat the egg because of the mother. Why? A guy purchased the chicken, but he didn't explain why he purchased it. He didn't tell anybody. Does he want to lay eggs? Does he want to eat it? He didn't say. So, nishchata, if you shech the chicken on Yontif, there's a concept of breira. You could retroactively decide what you wanted it for. So you shechted this chicken, now you're showing it that you bought it. Why did you purchase it? For food. But if you didn't shecht it, then you showed everybody, at least for the time being, you wanted 4 eggs. So that's the pshat. You ask me, why does it say he ve'ima, the he ve'beitzah, the mother and the egg? I'll tell you. Because if you shech the mother, then you could eat the egg. If you don't shech the mother, you can't eat it. So it depends on each other. Ramari Omar Guzma Katani. You know, when you're saying a good story, you throw in a little bit of information that's not necessary. So you say, Desanya, Acher Moir Meshur Rabbi Eliezer, Beitzah te'ochel hi ve'ima, ve'efreach ukli pasoi. What? We learned that you could eat the egg with the mother, you could eat the chick with the shell. I have a picture here if you want to see. Here. You can eat both of them. So the Gemara asks, Michael Pasoi, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to prove that sometimes we talk with a little bit of a guzma, a little bit of exaggeration to make the story great. Does anybody ever eat the shell? Impossible. So we're talking about you took the chick right out of the egg and you want to eat it. That's impossible also. Why? Are you allowed to eat something like that? What is that called? A sheretz. Why? Because it's not alive. This is machlokes. If you have a chick that came out of the shell, but its eyes are closed, whether or not you can eat it. But everybody agrees that if it never came out of the shell, 100% it's also to eat. So what's the pshat? Why does it say, and its shell? To make the statement really strong. You can eat it with the shell. Nobody eats shells. It just means you're allowed to eat it. So if I want to say that I hold so strongly like Beis Shammai, not like Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel hold you're not allowed to eat the egg on Yontif. Egg that was later, you're not allowed to eat it. Beis Shammai hold you're allowed to eat the egg. I'm telling you, you're allowed to eat the egg and the mother and the father, the whole mishpacha. I'm being magzim. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing it in there. Hachanami. So too, when I say to eat it, it's the mother and I throw it in because at the end of the day, the big chiddush is the egg. The egg is the chiddush, not the mother. So why did I say mother? To show how strongly I believe in it. Itmar. Shabbos v'yontif. Shabbos v'yontif. Rav Omar, what?
We asked the question that on a subject, we feel the alpha bottle, so we said, because it makes Davar Chashav, that's the answer?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Beitzah is Davar Chashav, according to this man Omar. Yeah.
The reason we said that we could eat the egg is because when you check the mother, you could eat the egg because the egg wasn't made. But if the egg was actually born, then we know that the egg was inside.
We'll talk afterwards. Itmar Shabbos v'yontif. You have Shabbos and then Yontif comes out on a Sunday. Rav Omar nolde b'zeh asur b'zeh. Rabbi Yochanan Omar nolde b'zeh mutaris b'zeh. So you have to know that we're starting a sugya here with what is going on. Everything's fine, unprinted, sitting on the computer. Matzah Shabbos. Oh, you know what? I'll just show it to you on the computer. This is what it was supposed to be. Put it like this. Okay, it doesn't matter. The point is, there's 3 machlokes in here. Shabbos and then Yontif. Yontif comes out on a Sunday. Rav says Asur. If there are 2 days of Yontif in Chutz La'aretz, like we're going to have in 2 weeks, Sukkos, 2 days, so Rav says, if an egg was laid on one day, you could eat it on the other day. Over there he's Mekel, in the blue. And Rosh Hashanah, which is coming up this week. These are the 3 machlokes that Rav argues, and he's right in all 3. We paskin like Rav in all 3. Today we're going to touch upon 2 of them, and then we're going to talk about the other. Okay? So that's that. This picture? Here. Here's Tomer in the hot air balloon. Tomer and Shir, he's right over there. Or Tomer, what's this guy's name, Tomer? Burat, what? Murat? Shalom Aleichem Murat. He's the guy with the rolls, or is it Yistam put the... Okay, great. So, Itmar, here we go. Shabbos v'Yontif. You have Shabbos, and then on Sunday you have Yontif. Rav Omar nolde b'zeh asur b'zeh, Rabbi Yochanan Omar nolde b'zeh mutaris b'zeh. An egg was laid on Shabbos. It's also, according to Rav, on Sunday. And we paskin like that. If you look over here, there's a hay next to it. That's the halacha. Rabbi Yochanan Omar nolde b'zeh mutaris b'zeh. Rabbi Yochanan argues. Now, as the Gemara, usually when Rav, who was the Gadol Adar in Bavel, in Chutz La'aretz, Rabbi Yochanan was the Gadol Adar in Eretz Yisrael. When those 2 argue, the halacha is always like Rabbi Yochanan. Not in this case. So we touched upon this idea. Why does Rav say that it was, and this is a huge chiddush, at least for me, Kedusha Achas. I'm going from Shabbos to Yontif. It's one long Kedusha, the Gemara says over here. A new way to understand what Kedusha Achas means. It's one long Kedusha, you make Havdalah at the end, great. It's 48 hours of Kedusha. Maybe that's what Rav holds. V'amar Rav, aloch t'arba skenim. There's 4 skenim, Rishim Gamliel and others. V'aliba, der Eliezer, dama shtei kedusha sein. So look at this. When it comes to Tchum, if you're with us for Erev, and this is the Amud Beis, but the way Erev Tchum works, this is your house, and you're allowed to walk only 2,000 amma in any direction, this way, that way. So what you do is you place a meal 2,000 amma away from your house. Now the meal becomes your house, and you get another 2,000 amma from there. So now for a total, you walk from your house to 4,000 amma. Okay? Because this becomes the center, and you're allowed to go 2,000 in each direction. It shifts the center. And what happens is, if you shift the center, you cannot go even 1 amma in that direction, because your house is no longer your house. This becomes your house, and you're limited to 2,000 amma in each direction. Listen to this chiddush. On a 2-day yontif, like this, on a 2-day yontif, if it's 2 kedushas, then on day 1 I could go this way, and on day 2 it's another yontif. So I'll make another erev over here, and I'll go that way, 4,000 amma that way. It's two separate Yomim Tovim. And that's how we paskin. That's how Rav paskins. The halach is like the Arbis Kainim. In other words, it's two kedushas. So don't tell me that the reason why an egg that was laid on Shabbos and the following day is Yontif, Rav says you're not allowed to eat the egg because it's one long kedusha. He doesn't hold of one long kedusha. He holds of two kedushas. So we're going back to Spalgan today. Here. Chana de Rabba. Rabba is this one. This Mandomar, famous Chana de Rabba. You're not allowed to prepare from Shabbos to Yontif, or from Yontif to Shabbos. And therefore the egg which was laid on Shabbos is Achana to Yontif. Rav Islay Hachana de Rabba, Rabbi Yochanan, Lesley Hachana de Rabba. So Rav agrees to Rabba. And by the way, that's the halacha. The halacha is like Rabba. There is a Isser Doiraisa to be meichen from Yontif to Shabbos, from Shabbos to Yontif. Rabbi, I have a great question to ask you. Let's see if anybody gets the chap here. Yena Menachem. What happened? The egg was laid on Shabbos, and I want to use the egg on Sunday, but I even made a little bit of a, here, right over here. The egg was laid in this red circle on Shabbos. I cannot use the egg on Sunday, which is Yontif, because it was prepared on Shabbos for Sunday, and Sunday's Yontif. It's also Issa Deraisa. Question. We learned that if an egg was laid on a Shabbos, that means it was created on Friday. So there's zero hachana here. There's no hachana. What's the hachana? The egg was laid on Shabbos. It was created on the blue circle. Blue circle is Friday. So why can't I use a Friday egg on a Sunday? It's a great kasha. You know who asked the kasha? Tosfos. So Tosfos seems like he struggles with the question. And he says, maybe the pshat is that when the egg is laid on Shabbos, it's also achana because now a chick could come out of it. It's meichen for a chick. It's a sort of achana, different. Huh? Second achana. Okay, I just wanted to point out a beautiful kasha. That kasha wasn't shver yesterday when the Gemara said hachana of Rabbah. Because then we're talking about that the egg was laid on Yontif, on Sunday, here. The egg was laid over here, and we said that the hachana happened on Shabbos. It was created on Shabbos. Now we're saying that the egg is laid on Shabbos, and you can't use it on Sunday and Yontif, but the egg was actually formed in the stomach of this chicken on a Friday. Okay. Hold on, you already asked your kasha today. Rav Islay Achona de Rav Kitanoi. No, the B'Shabbos Teochel B'Yontif. So it's a machlokes Tanoi. If it was laid on Shabbos, you could eat it on Yontif. B'Yontif, it was laid on Yontif, you could eat it on Shabbos. Okay, say machlokes. Says the Gemara. Story time for Motzei Shabbos. But this is similar, Rabbi said we're in Masechtas Beitzah now. Story time in Masechtas Beitzah is similar to the stories in Erevin. Wow. The host of Rav Ada bar Hava had I don't know, like one of these hotels, whatever. The owner had an egg that was laid Miyantiv l'Shabbos. It was laid on Yantiv and he's on Shabbos. What should I do? Can I roast it right now? Today is Yantiv. I want to roast it on Yantiv and use it tomorrow. What are you thinking? You're probably thinking to yourself that when you have the two, and therefore what? Rabbi Yochanan holds, you're allowed to eat it the following day. I feel Rabbi Yochanan like a shari, okay, if Rabbi Yochanan holds that what? Look at this. Where is that chart? Everybody holds. I have to find the chart anyways for later. Oh, it's on the top. Okay. Even Rabbi Yochanan agrees. He says you could eat it like that. It's still muktzah. Vatanya, and we learned this is the brisa that we started out the shir today. This brisa, everybody agrees that it's muktzah. Beitzah shenolda b'yantav Shabbos is muktzah. You can't put it underneath the bed. You can't cover a kli with it, but you're allowed to take another kli and cover it. Fine. Says the Gemara, another story. If you like the first story, here's even a different one. Either somebody came over to Rav Papa, or he's Rav Papa's host. If you don't understand why the Gemara doubles its lashon, look in the Ben Yoyada. The egg was laid on Shabbos, and he had it in Yontif. On Shabbos, he asks him, Can I use this egg tomorrow on Yontif? I want to make an omelet on Yontif. Amalei zilo idna. Go home. B'tala machar. Come back tomorrow on Yontif. The Rav because Rav, when he on Yontif, big mitzvah to drink wine. We don't have a Beis Hamikdash, so we don't have shlamim. So ain't simcha ela b'yayin. Should have seen, Avi Kamiyansi just sent me a picture of his fridge. Has 30 bottles of Castel and Yatir Forest, the Kavod Yontif. And guess what? It's not going to cost him a dime. It's the Kavod Yontif. Doesn't cost any money. And then Mela, that's what he's supposed to do. And Rav drank. And when he drank, he said, I can't paskin halachas. Why can't you paskin halacha when you drink? Because it says in the pasuk in Parsha Shmini Perik Yud in Vayikra, Yayin v'shecher al teish, you shouldn't drink. And 2 psukim later, it starts out Lahoyrez b'nei Yisrael. You're not allowed to drink and paskin halachas. So Mela, I too cannot paskin for you anything. Go home, come back tomorrow. I saw a Shaila. There was a. They came to the Rav, an emergency, pikuach nefesh. A woman is in the hospital giving birth, and they decided either they have to abort the baby, kill the baby, or what should they do over here? And the halacha is that, I got it, Gary, I got it the first time. The halacha is that the kid is a roida if you kill a kid. He knew it, but he just drank, he had a lot of wine. What does he do? How does he paskin? So Chaim Kanevsky actually said, he can't paskin. One of the eitzes was, tell the halacha to another Talmud Chacham and let that Talmud Chacham paskin. Okay, but it's serious stuff. You're not allowed to paskin. Fine. Says the Gemara, Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by MDY Tehillim Group for all those who need Shidduchim Refuas and Yeshuos. And please join Tehillim.imindaf.com and by Shlomo Lalezarian in honor of my wife, who's Moisa Nevesh V'Torah. It's a good thing you went away and came back now. Because I would have told you, yes, I was a little tipsy, and I would have told you the wrong thing. I would have told you the famous halacha that when there's a machlokes between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan, we should know. But as we just saw this sheet, I don't know where it is. The halacha is like Rav in those 3 things. Bein lekula, bein lechumra. Or Rabbi Yochanan. You have, so we just spoke about an egg. An egg that was laid on Shabbos, you're allowed to use on Yontif according to Rabbi Yochanan, the following day Yontif. What about a piece of wood that falls off a tree on one day? Can you use it on the following day? Is there a difference? Can anybody come up with in the wildest dreams of the distinction between a piece of wood and an egg? Both of them start out on Shabbos, and now I want to know if I can use it the following day on Yontif. Says the Gemara, there's a big difference. Amazing chiddush here. And don't tell me, whoa, wait a minute, but you said you're allowed to eat the egg on Yontif the following day. Let's just say this about pet. Big chiddush. An egg, without the isser of noilad, you would eat an egg on Shabbos. There are a lot of chazanim that eat eggs raw, as is. So what's the whole isser to eat this egg? You have a dozen eggs in your fridge, you can eat all of them. You just can't eat this new guy, because this guy is called noilad. So noilad gets into your head. You chap, there's a problem of a noilad, and therefore the following day, you're not going to make a mistake. You're going to know the reason why you couldn't eat this egg is because of noilad. Noilad was the day before. Today there's no noilad, I can eat it on Yantav. But a piece of wood, you can never create a fire on Shabbos. There's never a head to use fire. So the concept of noilad got lost in the whole mix over here. Why can't I burn this piece of wood? Not because of noilad, because you can't burn wood on Shabbos. So I forgot about noilad. If I'm going to forget about noilad, I'm not going to realize that there's a problem in noilad, and I'm going to come and burn wood that's noilad on a yantif, and you can't do that. I know it's a little difficult, but whatever. Made the idea the basiyim asruah. So a person realizes that if it was created today, there's a problem with noilad. Why can I eat this egg? I eat eggs every Shabbos. This egg I can't eat today because of noilad. So noilad sticks in my head. You can never burn a piece of wood on Shabbos. If you're going to allow it on the following day of Yantif, they'll never realize there's a problem of noilad. The whole reason why you couldn't use it yesterday is because of Shabbos. Interesting halacha. You have a fire pit in your backyard, and a piece of wood fell off a tree on Yantif into your fire pit. What do? All you need to do is add more kosher wood. In other words, wood that fell off the tree way before Yantif. As the Gemara, but part of the wood fell off the tree today, and that wood is also noilad. So when I mix up I stoke the coals, I'm moving the usr wood. Says the Gemara, make sure you have more 51% kosher wood, and you're allowed to. What happened to mevatel isur? What's the halacha? That if you have, like Gary was saying, 99, this is Rashi over here, 99 chulin and 1 truma, and I want to get to 100, so I can be mevatel that one. You can't add another apple to make it 100. It's awesome. You hear what's going on here? Taisus asks the kasha. Whatever, we're not going to get into it because we don't have time. And Taisus makes a beautiful distinction. That's something that's an ikir midiraisa, that you have the idea midiraisa or not midiraisa. Fine. Remember the famous Rav Ashi? He came up with a bomb on Amud Aleph that even in the Rabbanon, if you just could wait a little bit in the Rabbanon until Matzah Yantiv, wait. So over here also, just how can you use this wood that fell into your fire pit? Just wait a little bit. Says Gemara, how do you use fire after it's consumed? So therefore the isser is already gone. They discuss, but how do you even get to that point? How do you move it around beforehand? Itmar. Here we go. So here's machlokes number 2 from the list. Do you need to see the whole list? No. You got it, right? Even if I can't find it. No, you're right. Okay. Machlokes number 2 that Rav is, we passing like Rav. Shnei Yomim Tovim Shol Goluyos. So, we just learned it recently. We'll just do Chazara again. In the time of Beis HaMikdash, they didn't have a calendar. They didn't know when Rosh Chodesh was. If they didn't know when Rosh Chodesh was, because it could either, the Eidim, it's based on witnesses, and the witnesses could come on the 30th. Here's the 29th, Chavtes. They could either come on the blue circle on the 30th, or come on the red circle on the 31st. So, since you live far away from the Beis HaMikdash, you have no idea what's going on. So therefore, 15 days later, by Sukkot, you are going to, because you don't know if Rosh Chodesh happened here, and therefore the first day of Sukkot is over here, or Rosh Chodesh happened in the red, and therefore the first day of Sukkot is in the red. You keep 2 days Yantav. So, Shnei Yom Tovim Shagaluyois, Rav Amar Noda B'zeh, Muteres B'zeh. Over here, Rav is Mekel. So comes Sukkot. If a chicken laid an egg on the first day over here in the blue, you're allowed to eat the egg on the second day. Ravasi Omer Noda B'zeh, Asur B'zeh. No, I argue, and that law is like Rab. You're going to tell me that the Pshat Ravasi, the reason why it's Asur is because these 2 days are one long Kedusha, 48 hours of Kedusha. And therefore, it's one long Yantif. If an egg is laid in one part of the Yantif, you can't eat it on the other part. It's not two separate Yom Tovim. But that's not true. You know what Ravasi used to do? He used to make Havdalah between the first day and the second day. In America, he lived in Bavel, and as the first day went out, he would make Havdalah, just in case that was the Yantif. And then he would continue and make another Yantif. Now, why don't we do that in America today, in England and all over Chutz La'aretz? So the reason why they don't do it is because people will come to be Mekel on the second day of Yantif. Say, oh, look, I made Havdalah already. It's not really, it's a fake. So we had people, unfortunately, we had Israelis, I didn't know the halacha so well, that came to the hotel one year, and the second day Yantif, they just got in their car, they started driving around, Chalamayit trips, the whole thing. Now, that's a big problem. Now, one thing that somebody like myself, and every single year we go to America for Pesach, so we have to make Havdalah because we are Bnei Eretz Yisrael. So the second day doesn't really exist for us. The only thing is, we are Yotze Kireach, we get bald from both sides. In other words, we have to keep Yantiv like everybody else. We don't get to sit by the Seder. Oh, we do have to sit by the Seder. We have to pretend we're part of the Seder, the whole thing. Because we're Bnei Eretz Yisrael, we can't do any Melacha b'Far Esya. But we do have to make Havdalah. We have to make Havdalah between the first and the second days, because for us, the second day is not a day. I just saw it tonight. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein says that what I did was wrong. He says you shouldn't do it just do it privately in Shmoneh Esrei. You shouldn't even do it, because I make a whole Havdalah, I bring my family to a small room. Yeah, I don't want to do it before Esrei. He says not to do it like that. So I have to look into that. Okay. Ravasi, Sapukim Sapkalei. There's not too many people, because most people come from America to Eretz Yisrael for Yantiv. Not too many go from Eretz Yisrael to America. Okay, fine. Ravasi, so says Gemara, you know why he made Havdalah? It was only Misafik. He had a real Safik here. Rashi explains that he knew how to do the calendar, he knew how to do it, but is it real, not real? Fine. So he said, let me do Havdalah, but let me be Machmer. Let me keep 2 days. We know how to, we have calendars. So you see that at the end of the day, Ravasi was right. You should be makbid, even though you know how to do it. You should be makbid. Amar Abaya, say the Rav is tabra. No, the snabber shoyno mesim asuos. So the way it worked in those days, one guy would lift up a torch. Somebody came in and said, "It's Rosh Chodesh." Now I want the message to get all the way to Iraq. So I go up to a high mountain here in Yerushalayim. I lift up my torch. There's a guy that's 20 miles away on his mountain. He sees it. He picks up his torch. Within 10 minutes, it gets all the way to Iraq. There was a prankster, Mr. Kusti. He was always a big prankster. One day, on the 30th, he runs up the mountain and puts up his torch. So the mountain 20 miles away, they don't have cell phones. He sees the torch. He puts up the torch. Within 10 minutes, in Bavel, they already made Rosh Chodesh. Meanwhile, it was a prank. Simple prank. A kuti decided to get everybody. So in Mela, they said, no more torches. What are we doing? Messengers. Okay? So now a messenger takes forever. It takes more than 15 days to get to Bavel. How are you going to get to Bavel from Israel to Bavel, to Iraq, on a donkey? So in Mela, they had a problem. They had to do 2-day Yontif. Finished. That's it. Done. So it says like this, but you have to be medayik nicely over here. Once the kusim, right, that whole group of people, that it's a whole shaila in the entire shas, are they Geri Emes, Geri Arayas? Did they really want to convert? Were they forced to convert? But they were troublemakers. There's no question. There's messengers. Let's say you could get rid of all the troublemakers, kill them all out. We'd go back to doing 1 day. And where the messenger goes, in fact, as far as the messenger could go, from Eretz Yisrael into Syria, whatever, you only do 1 day. So in Mela, you hear what he's saying? He's saying the whole reason we do 2 days is because we have messengers. But let's say I could go back to the torches, I would only do 1 day. Now we all have calendars. My time Avdin and Trey Yom. Why do we do it? Because they sent. There's a tremendous concept of doing a minhag. Rabbi Isai, what could go wrong? Think to yourselves. What could go wrong if you are on the wrong, if you make Yontiv on the wrong day? You're making Yontiv on the wrong day. What is the worst thing that could happen in terms of an Isser? What greatest Isser could you be over if you do Yontiv on the wrong day? Anybody? Chometz on Pesach. Says Rashi, Chometz on Pesach. Chometz on Pesach. So you're saying Yom Kippur is also. I thought about Yom Kippur, and perhaps Rashi doesn't say Yom Kippur. I'm thinking, I don't know if this is true. I have to look into it. I thought the pshat is because Rosh Hashanah is always 2 days. So Yom Kippur is automatically 10 days later, so we never have an issue with Yom Kippur and Sukkot. The problem is on Pesach. That's where we could be over the Raisa. I don't know. That's one thing. And just real quickly, I saw a Maisa from the Chassam Sofer. There was a Magefa in a city called Galanta. People were dying left and right. So he asked them, was there any minig that you might have done and you canceled? And he said, yeah. We used to have a bunch of guys singing, and we would go to house, and based on the amount of children that the people had in the house, they'd give us eggs. Yeah, 10 eggs, 10 children, 10 eggs. There's 5 to 5. And then when we got to the rabbi's house, the choir stopped singing, and that's it. We'd give the eggs to tzedakah or whatever. You better reinstitute the minig immediately. They reinstituted the minig, and the magefa stopped. So, the minig is very, very tough. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and week. We'll see you tomorrow, Beitzah Hashem, 7:15, straight.